Learning to See, a program of the series Sapere aude, with Michael Thallium and Carmen González Castro. For visual arts lovers and people with curiosity.
Welcome, Carmen.
Hello, welcome.
Let me explain to those English speakers, listeners, that this is the first time we do this program in English. None of us is a native speaker. However, we started a sub-series, so to say, which was called, in Spanish, Aprender a Mirar, Learning to See. And that was long back, episode 36, with the Spanish artist Jaime Garcia. And now, after all this time, a lot of things have happened, and we've decided to record this episode in English. And we are going to talk about a dialogue between disciplines. But first of all, for those people who don't know who Carmen González Castro is, let me ask you the question I've always asked my guests. Who is Carmen González Castro?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here, Michael. And hello and welcome to everybody. I am a painter mainly, but I'd rather call myself visual artist because in the end, we have to be able to use different art disciplines to develop our projects in different media and languages. So probably the label painter or even so figurative painter, to me it's quite restrictive.
Would you consider yourself a polymath? Let me explain. Because you said I'm a painter, but I know you paint, you're a painter, you are a pianist, you are very into philosophy, history. I mean, you know a lot of things about a lot of disciplines. So not just a painter. So explain to us, let me start from the beginning. When did you start painting and when did you start with music?
Well, I guess I started painting when we all start painting, when we are a child. When we are children, I was a kid. My father was a painting, as you know. Was a painter, as you know. And he, I guess he gave me the first tools I needed to know to be able to make a decent drawing or watercolor, which was the favorite technique when we were kids. When we are kids, still the number one. So I started painting, and then when I was 7 years old, my parents enrolled me in the conservatory where I studied piano in the first place.
And how do you feel, or when do you feel more yourself? When you paint or when you play the piano?
Yeah, it's a long story because I'm kind of traumatized about my education at the conservatory. The way it was taught was a bit too hard for all of us, I guess, as far as I know from the people who studied with me. I don't know how it is now. I hope things have changed, but it was really harsh back then. So when I had to make a decision about what would I do with my life, I had to choose career or let's say a degree to start with, and I chose fine arts because that had been always in my mind. So I ended my piano degree, and I gradually gave up after I finished my studies and went more into the fine arts world. Yeah.
Mhm. Let's contextualize our talk. It's spring 2026, April, and very recently you just inaugurated an exhibition. Can you tell us about this exhibition and why it is so important to you?
Okay, it is something more than an exhibition because it is a project called Dies Nox, which in English, because it comes from the Latin language, means day and night. And it is a collaboration between Warwick Blair, the musician who initiated the project, Jeppe Ernst, and myself. Jeppe is also a musician. And it is a project in which performance, painting, and electronic music engage in a dialogue about their foundations, so to speak. So yeah, that's basically it all. It's not, as I said, not just an exhibition. In fact, we're going to make a concert on the 8th of May. So I welcome you all to come and visit.
So what's it's going to be a performance?
Yeah, and video projection.
And video
A
projection.
live performance and... Yeah.
Uh-huh. I've seen it once when
Yeah.
you were preparing it, and you've used acrobats
Yes.
to do this. Can you tell us
Yeah.
something about that?
Yeah, I tend to speak about them as acrobats, but they are more aerial silks artists. So that means they do the work on a trapeze, on a hoop. I think it's called hoop. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these hanging silks, where beautiful figures are drawn. So yeah, they are both my aerial silks teachers, and they are, let's call them body performers, because they are much more than just acrobats. They are artists, and they work with body awareness and body expression, that type of discipline.
And how did you come up with that idea? I mean, the project Dies Nox.
Well, Warwick, who lives and works in New Zealand, began by capturing a sound impression after my painting, my work in general, my latest paintings back then. It happened maybe 1 year and a half ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the result has been translated into a series of frequencies that recreate how vibrations naturally travel through the conductive tissues of the human body. So muscles, bones, and skin.
So there is music and electroacoustic music.
Yes, yes.
It's a pity we don't have some music we could play for the listeners to have an idea, a taste of it.
Well, we actually do. I've brought the audio.
Okay, then let's play it. So, Carmen, how was this music made?
Well, I have to begin with the final result, because I think Warwick's music primarily evokes an atmosphere. So to me, it has a tone that recalls a moment in human history before language was invented, as if the music emerged only from the elements available to human beings: the voice, the beating of a heart, the breath. It is composed, to give an answer to your question, of multiple sound layers that stretch and contract over time.
Mm-hmm. While we were listening to this music, we missed out one thing, which is the visual part.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what was going on while the music was there and we couldn't see anything? But there's actually something going on.
Yeah, well, it is a complex process, because what's going on while the music is playing is the final stage of something that began with kind of choreography that we did, the three of us, the acrobats and I, after Warwick's first music composition. So this choreography has been redone after I painted a series of 9 paintings based on the first choreography. So it has experienced different changes in time, depending on how these 3 disciplines that come into play interact with each other, and yeah, that's the process.
So, and I forgot to ask you, is it easy to be on a project where you have three of you, Jeppe and Warwick? You are in Spain, based in Madrid. Warwick is in New Zealand, and Jeppe is in Denmark.
Yes.
How did you manage to put all the things together and create that project for everybody to see and listen?
Well, I guess if Warwick was here listening, he would say it was it were the stars. They were the stars who helped us. But yeah, we've had a lot of meetings, online video calls, and a lot of conversations, and a lot of previous work in the distance. So it's been very rewarding to work with them both, because we have, it's strange, because they are musicians, but the music they create is closer to contemporary art forms than orthodox, formal classical music or classical contemporary music. I don't know how to call it, but because of the sensitivity that the 3 of us share, it's been, as I said, very enriching. And I guess we all have the similar cultural references, in our head, in our mind, in our world. Yeah. So we've talked a lot about painting, music, literature, cinema. So yeah.
And what do you expect from people who come up to see that exhibition and performance?
I never expect anything from people watching art.
That leads me to ask you a question. Why artists do arts?
Okay, yeah. I think I can give an answer to that. Well, we use art, in this case music and visual arts, instead of language, because the image contains a wider range of meaning than language does, in my view. So music is a very abstract or intangible art form, which is maybe because of this the most, I would say, the discipline that has the bigger power to move people, even to the point that it can provoke a physical reaction, which painting doesn't, or it's much more difficult for painting to do that. So, if we're talking about reaction, if we're talking about emotions, what we want is to try to offer an emotion to anybody looking at our work.
Good. To offer an emotion to anybody who come up to see.
Offer and provoke, sorry.
Offer and provoke, okay. And what kind of emotions does your own painting provoke in you?
If I had to explain them, I would be like betraying myself in relation to what I said before. But I don't want to condition anybody to feel any particular emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk about, as a viewer from our work, from outside, I can talk about what it provokes to me. And to me, it's a very mesmerizing effect that these different voices conversations have in our souls. No, it goes back to before the invention of language. It's something very mysterious, because you see three people, two of them are reacting to each other as if they are recognizing themselves when they see the other person. Sometimes they are isolated, sometimes they communicate, but above all, there is a sense of caring among them. And there is this third person who is kind of dreaming or living in daylight, all those type of images and reactions we experience during the nighttime or the dream time, we could say. It's quite oniric atmosphere.
Uh-huh.
And there is also the paintings, which are just a part of the project. That, well, if you want, we can enter more into depth later on about painting.
Why not now?
Okay. I was expecting you to ask something else. Okay. Well, the paintings here act as points.
Don't forget that we are missing out something very important, which is the visual part. We're saying words, we are trying to explain something that is very visual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a problem now. Because
that's hard, because words have the same problem as painting with music.
Exactly.
Music goes far beyond where words cannot reach.
Okay, yeah, that's right. But it's funny because we can be talking here about images that we can't see because we are on the radio media. But that would be interesting because I don't want people to have a preconceived idea of what they're going to see, as much as I don't want them to give them a preconceived meaning about what they are going to see. So now, in theory, these paintings act as points of gravity within this double dance of gestures, and they transform the stage into a tableau vivant, to use the French expression. No? So they are traces and anchors of the performance choreography, whose movement shapes the lines formed by the peaks of the sonic atmosphere and the volume curves of the audible spectrum.
Right. So, and this performance is going to be next 8th of May?
Yes, at 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock. For those English speakers who are listening to this audio before the performance,
yeah,
you can reach out and try and see it.
Yeah,
but for those who will listen to this podcast, maybe, who knows, in a year time, 2 years time, because that's the point I wanted to come to. Art is ephemeral.
Yeah.
And once the exhibition's gone, what will be left?
Okay, that's very interesting. But first of all, let me remind our listeners that the concert, as we like to call it, will take place on the 8th of May in Madrid, Calle Constancia, with the gallery Claudia González.
Exactly, that's important, because if we invite people and they don't know where to go, it's like inviting no one to nowhere.
And after that, in June the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, it will be the video will be projected in Copenhagen. So yeah, it's received funding from the Danish Art Foundation and the SV Festival. Sit Havnens Musikuge, if I'm pronouncing it correct.
And no, there will be no performance or any act taking place in New Zealand.
Well, we wish there was the possibility to bring the project to New Zealand, but not so far. Yeah, not so far. So, what was the question?
The question was, what will be left from art after the exhibition is over?
It's over. Okay. We want to, well, there will be the paintings, witnesses of what has happened. There will be the video that is currently showing on display in the gallery, which is a 50 minutes video that combines the performance in a different space of the two performers from Madrid and the performance of the performer from Copenhagen, which consists of a series of variations that Jeppe has done for body gestures. So it's silent, because his scores and his music is written for body gestures and movements. So it is alternatively shown with the acrobats dance.
Okay, I see. We remember we've entitled this episode "A Dialogue Between Disciplines" and learning to see. You know that I have a tendency to ask tricky questions.
I know.
Tough questions.
I know. Oh my God.
So here goes. What approach, what kind of attitude should a listener or a viewer that comes to see the performance should have?
Approach. Well, again.
How can they learn to see if they must learn to see?
Okay. First of all, I think they have to bear in mind that the three disciplines we're playing with reflect on their specificity in relation to one another while permeating each other. So they open a hybrid space where gestures, sounds, and matter push against their limits until dissolving them. What do I mean by that? Well, gesture remains movement while also becoming matter.
Right.
The pictorial image becomes matter in motion. This is all metaphorically, of course. And sound acquires a haptic dimension, as if you can touch it, ultimately condensing into one or multiple images. So that's the theory behind it, but there's not an approach, a specific approach required, please. Let's forget about that.
And, well, I said I like asking tricky questions, but sometimes I also ask very stupid questions, and here's one stupid question. What will you do with the paintings after the exhibition?
Well, I hope somebody takes them to their house. Or they are on sale.
They're on sale
in the gallery. Yeah.
And do you feel sad that because it's being conceived as a all-together work, so to say?
Yeah.
And now each painting, if people buy them, will go to a different place.
Yeah.
So the magic or the concept of it all will disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be dismantled in a way. Yeah. Well, we can't control what happens to the artwork after we finish it, after we exhibit it, you see. So we have to learn to get rid of attachment to our works. They're not our kids. They are just something made for somebody else to enjoy it the way they think they can, or the way they choose. And yeah, that's the unavoidable destiny of every artwork.
Mm-hmm. And since you've started, the three of you started this project, are you planning to do more projects in the future together?
Yes, I hope. Well, I hope I can keep working with Warwick and Jeppe. As you said, it's a bit more difficult because we are far away, but from each other. But of course, I'm going to keep working with Zaida and Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
We
They
are
are the artists, the acrobats, what we call acrobats, but they are more, how would you call them? Movement artists or
aerial silks.
aerial. Okay.
Yeah, aerialists is
Aerialists.
the proper concept.
The
word.
proper, very posh, proper.
Sorry. sorry.
No,
My teacher fits always
you
says
reminded me. You reminded me of Helen Mirren when she was playing the Elizabeth, the Queen.
Oh,
Elizabeth
yes.
II. Proper, yeah. Okay.
Oh, sorry
No worries,
about
no worries.
that. What was I going to say? Yes, we are indeed planning with Zaida and Miguel to work on different proposals for art residences that take place in the rural area in Spain, where we would like to work with strange communities and vulnerable communities, like the elderly and maybe some LGBTQ communities as well. And we want to offer them possibilities to acknowledge their own bodies, to give them more body awareness, to give them a community experience, an aesthetic experience as well. And they might be giving us back more things, because we would like to learn from them how to sew nests. It's part of a project that is now going on, so I can't say anything more so far. But
anything else? Yeah.
Anything else? Sorry, but I hope I will in the future if they choose our project. Yeah.
Okay, and now we need to be finishing. Everything has a beginning and an end, as you know, and but I wanted to ask you, since we are talking about something that is very visual. I said before, we are just using words to describe something that cannot be described.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can use words to describe it, of course, but it's something it must be seen and listened to.
Mm-hmm.
So, why do you think people? Well, I'm assuming something that maybe I'm wrong. I was just about to ask you, why do you think people don't know how to see art? But I'm assuming people don't know how to see art. Do they?
We all have eyes. We all have ears. Mm-hmm. The important thing here is to leave your preconceptions behind when you approach an artwork, to let yourself permeate from the possible beauty that you're looking at. So there's no, as I said before, there's no need to have a previous education about art to be able to enjoy it. So the less education you have, the better, I think. You just need to, or we aim to remind people that they are just humans, that they are sensitive or sentient beings and let themselves go with the emotion.
Let me read something that's been written about the project
Mm-hmm.
regarding actually all these things that we cannot see. And
Okay.
let me read it out. Within the expanded time in which the action unfolds, the viewer is invited into a deep, multisensory listening, just as the interaction between the performers is not merely formal or aesthetic, but involves conscious attention to the other. The relationship with the viewer is also shaped through intersubjectivity and shared presence, through a common perception that takes place in the here and now. So would you say that's a good summary of what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we started, by the way, Warwick and I, he created a manifesto where all these ideas were kind of sum up. And we are worried about the acceleration of nowadays life, everyday life. So we want to provide a common or a shared experience between the viewers or the listeners and the artists and the performers, just to not forget that we still are or should be a community. So to finish with, I would like to talk about this idea of the community, because it happened to me that I came to realize in the end that all the series and all the paintings and maybe the whole project was filled with grief.
Grieve?
Yes. it's
Why grieve?
Love and death, are the same faces.
So night and
two
day.
different faces of the same coin. Yeah. Sorry.
Night and day.
Again. Yeah.
Dies Nox.
Yeah. We have both poles, both opposites. So it's been a very intense process to all of us, but particularly now I have to speak for myself, because I had to say goodbye to different, to relatives. Well, my cats, as you know, my cats that were like kids to me, and other symbolic griefs I've been going through in the last year. So I came to realize that, and there is erotism in the paintings, but it's mixed up with death and goodbyes. And in relation to that, I would like to end by saying that I feel that in death we create community, and if we deliberately looked away from death, we are forgetting that we all are part of this community. So that's the final message.
Your final word.
Yeah.
So Carmen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again.
Thank you.
And talk to you soon.
Yes, I hope so.